Welcome to another episode of Jim Merritt's Indiana. Today we're going to venture to Recycle Force and talk to Greg Kiesling about his operation. You know Recycle Force, they hire all sorts of individuals who have been in trouble with the law. They're on probation, they're paroled, that have been incarcerated in their lives and teaching them a new way to live their life. I'm so excited that we're going to be learning more about the ankle bracelets and how they're monitored, and that's been big in the news recently. I hope you enjoy this episode of Jim Merritt's Indiana.
Hey, Jim, thank you very much. Recycle Force has been around a long time. We really started in 1996 as a welfare to work program of serving the non-custodial parent of the TANF for welfare mother. There were almost predominantly men, almost all involved in the criminal justice system. And we have been evolving since these last 25 years. We revolved into Recycle Force, realizing that if we controlled the business and the workday, we could accomplish a lot more with criminal justice oversight. And so Recycle Force launched in 2004 as an employment social enterprise. And we've served well over 2,000 people in that period of time. And an employment social enterprise is a business that has getting a person a better job its primary mission. So people come into our program while they're under significant oversight, and their job is to adhere to those mandates the courts have presented or have laid upon them, and to work a little bit and to get credentials. And our credentials or certificates are in forklift or powered industrialized truck, which is big for our jobs out here in our community. The Certified Logistics Associate, which is a step above for our logistics field. And then we have HAZWOPER 40 that's handling hazardous material. We also have EPA 608 to remove Freon from refrigerated devices, yet we're not making those refrigerators anymore. But we are the Silicon Valley of logistics here in Central Indiana. And never in our 25 years have there been more jobs for our folks. There's two things that have happened that I think really impacted our work. One is Right to Work, and the other is the E-Verify system. And, when Right to Work was launched, I was doubtful. Mickey Maurer is my buddy, and Mickey would talk about this is really going to help your people. And I'd always say, Mickey, if you want to just bust the union, you might as well admit it. But sure enough, those $10 an hour employees are now 15 and up. And that's all from all the different logistics firms that have come here to this region. So our training and the work we do is to prepare individuals to leave our program and to get these better jobs. And of course, we're a big electronic recycling plant. And so we're recycling all the retail returns from these operations or some of the product that doesn't sell. Of course, we've got contracts with the city of Indianapolis and state surplus to recycle out-of-date computers. But really, the electronic recycling is really changing into the type of retail products that we have. For instance, many people are seeing all those ships off of LA waiting to be unloaded. A large portion of those items are going to end up in a Central Indiana warehouse. Some of them won't sell, and then those items will be sent to us, where in the past they'd go into our landfill or they would go to be burnt for energy. Because these items contain a battery, lithium most likely, and a small circuit board, and often they're just toys, one-use toys that we buy our kids and grandkids for Christmas. These items can't be burnt, nor should they be thrown in our landfill. And we're really working to harvest that lithium and begin to feed it into the growing electronic car market. The battery maker down in Tennessee, Kentucky's going to be making those electric 150s. And so we call it urban mining. And there's a lot of OSHA training that happens over this period of time, so people learn how to work safe. And we're really excited for Indiana as we begin to look, as the state begins to see people coming out from prison and jail as a viable labor force, perhaps the only labor force that many have access to, as we begin to feed folks out into the jobs that are really growing as we revamp our manufacturing sector and really grow this idea of recycling. Many of your watchers may know about Brightmark up in Steuben County or Ashley, Indiana, that's built and is now operating a $450 million plant that turns our ABS plastic back into diesel fuel and BP buys that fuel. It goes in the tractors of our farmers who go out and farm the fields. And our next big step now is going to be like solar panel recycling and other items that we can feed in. In the past, plastic was our really big problem. For every pound of a circuit board with gold in it, or that tiny lithium battery, we would generate mounds of plastic. And in the early days, China would buy that plastic, but they stopped. And so now we've got to figure out what we do. And Brightmark locating here in Indiana, in fact, we're trying to feed employees. They need 50 people right now. And we're trying to work with the Department of Correction. How do we locate people from here? Because the draw is for Central Indiana because of the jobs in our region. And then how do we send some of these people? I got women in my program from Adams County, Wells County, DeKalb County. How do we get them back? Right. Often the county doesn't want them because of the crime they committed, and usually they're drug-related crimes. And the people often don't want to go back because they don't see any opportunities.
So do you have a wide range of employees? How many employees do you have?
We're employing about 600 people per year. We have up to 125 at any given time. We're a transitional. This employment social enterprise is a transitional job. They're going to work here for 4 to 6 months. The more functional individuals that have the less oversight can leave quicker because the job market's strong for them. Those that have the oversight, more stricter compliance monitoring, and other issues like substance abuse will stay here longer. But we're serving high-risk individuals. DOC does a wonderful job. If a person has done their time and is leaving and without strict compliance monitoring, Toyota and Cummins, I mean, there are many companies that will hire, maybe Cummins, but I know Toyota's one. There are many companies that you can go out and work. We're left with the individuals that this system is not quite sure what to do with. And they're a pretty big hunk of people.
And do you have a good relationship with DOC?
We don't really have much. We have a good relationship with parole. We have an excellent relationship with probation, Marion County Probation, and Marion County Community Correction, which has some involvement with DOC. But we've historically not had a close relationship with DOC. It puzzles me as to why. Now, parole, which is part of DOC, we do, right? But it's just puzzling. We're funded by the federal government. The federal government's where our funding comes from.
You've got a great future. We have a wonderful facility that we had a groundbreaking for. Talk a little bit about Recycle Force's future.
Well, here's our, so obviously we were in the old RCA plant. When that collapsed and we had to move, we moved to the Switzer building when the Bank of Indianapolis owned it, but then they sold it to somebody else who develops it for a different clientele. So we got moved out of there. We're sitting here in the old International Paper building that's owned by one of the nicest men in Indianapolis, Leo Stens, who has given us shelter here until we can go back to Sherman Park and build this facility. So we're sitting in about 50,000 square foot of space. This is 122,000 square foot of space. It's got office spots where we're going to be able to rent out to our partners who provide these services. But it's going to massively change who we are, the amount of material we can bring in, all these plastic retail. We're not even touching 10% of what we could get out of the distribution centers.
And I saw a tweet that you are handling the old seating at Cambridge Fieldhouse.
That's long gone. That was one of the easiest projects. Those chairs could stack. We took them apart, stacked them, and they've been turned up to diesel up at Brightmark already. That already happened.
Well, and how many people do you think you can employ with such a large facility?
We'll be able to move up to this, really be able to keep 125 to 150 on the floor at a time. And then, we have contracts now. We call our model ABC, Any Job, Better Job, Career. So when you come under the strict compliance, you're on our plant floor, where oversight knows where you are, where the ankle bracelets can read where you're at, and hopefully this roof will not block signal, but often warehouse roofs do block signal. But as we get the ankle bracelet off, or the courts and oversight have more flexibility, then we're moving people into the better job. My best employer right now is the Indianapolis Department of Public Works, and they hire a significant number of people. A Chinese company called BYD that's changing out those buses into the electric batteries hires our individuals. Ray's Recycling, a company out in Plainfield, ERI. These are where we can move people into the better job or attempt to work through our partner Keys to Work.
Well, you just put some light on the ankle bracelets and its monitoring. We'll go into that now, and I'm really interested to see what an ankle bracelet looks like, and also what are the travails, what are the positives of the ankle bracelet.